for my baby. Gxlden.Chvld.
What's up, guys? It's your girl, the Golden Child, and we are back with another video. Finally, I know I haven't made a video in forever. If you guys want, I could make a video explaining why that is the case. But what this video is about is the first time I did a pageant. This past January, I ran for Miss Mass USA, and it was one of the best experiences of my whole life. I'm not exaggerating or just being corny. It was just a really great experience. I hadn't ever done a pageant before, and I have a lot to say about my
Guess
first
what, bitch? Coronavirus! Coronavirus! I'm telling you, shit is real! Shit is getting real!
I wanted to run for Miss Mass USA, first of all, because I just love glitz and glam. Like, homecoming and prom in high school, those were the things I most looked forward to. Just getting dressed up and looking good, getting my face beat, just all of it. But pageants are actually lots of hard work, like preparation, just all the costs of everything, training, and I think the biggest thing is the mental state you have to be in. Like, winning Miss Mass USA is a lot of responsibility. You're going on, once you win, to represent Massachusetts, and you're going against all the other states, and if you are to win, like the whole thing, you're Miss USA, and that's a lot of pressure, a lot of responsibility. But yeah, pageants aren't all just like getting pretty and like maybe singing on stage or something. Like, it's standing for something. That's what I came to realize. I understood the weight of the pageant to some degree, but like I didn't fully get it. The weight of everything didn't fully set in until I was doing the pageant, until like it was actually happening. Like, it's something you have to experience. I don't think anything I can say can really like do it justice. This was just something fun I wanted to do, but I learned a lot from it. I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about, is this a title that I genuinely want to compete for and try for again? I had to think about these types of things. But yeah, serious as I'm being, I had a great time, and I'm going to tell you guys about it. So, first things first that I would think to address, the cost of it. Like, you're probably watching this because maybe you want to do a pageant, but let me tell you, this is expensive. Like, I couldn't sum up the cost for you necessarily. There was $1,000 sponsorship fee, just like the fee for like participating in the pageant, and you know, dress, hair, makeup. Well, I don't have much. Also, for the pageant, you can't have a makeup artist, so you'd be doing your own makeup. So if you don't own makeup, buying your own makeup so you can do it for the pageant. Shoes, just so much. It won't even come to mind, all of it. I actually did canning. If you guys don't know what canning is, that's when people stand outside of grocery stores and such other places and ask for money, which is what I did because I didn't have $1,000+ just laying around. So I want to thank my community, my town, just for helping me out, because I really couldn't have done this without you guys, anybody who maybe like donated to me or just supported me in general watching this. There were lots of people who, even not like monetarily, did support me, like all the people who reposted my pictures, just like showed me love, like offered me any kind words. You guys all supported me, and you guys all got me there, got me through it, and yeah, I'm just really thankful. Also, something I forgot to mention, aside from like all the stuff you need for the pageant and the sponsorship fee, something that they offered was classes. I actually took the class for pageant posing and pageant walking from a former Miss Mass USA, and she like helped me out. Like, you guys wouldn't believe all the like technicalities of a pageant. Like, you just think you walk on, walk off, like do your thing and all that. It's very particular. Like, you have to stand a certain way, you have to pose a certain way. It has to be like to a T. You have to do it right because you're being judged on that. You wouldn't think that you'd be judged very much like how how straight your arm is, like how straight your legs are. You wouldn't think of such technical things like that. But this really isn't just getting pretty and going on stage. Like, there's a lot of prep that goes into it. But yeah, there was also a mock pageant for the pageant. It was basically just a practice pageant for people like me who had never done a pageant before. Just like a run through of everything with some actual like judges, not the judges that judged this pageant, but maybe some former judges, just people who can give us feedback, and former Miss Mass USA's also at the mock pageant, just helping us and getting us ready for the actual thing. So, you know, everything costs money. But I don't regret anything. Everything I had, every resource was helpful. I was a lot more confident on stage, and that's what it's about, like putting your best foot forward. I feel as though I would have done a disservice to myself doing the pageant and not seizing every opportunity I could to get better, do better, put my best self out there. So it was all worth it. I don't know when I'm going to do another one because that's all expensive. But anyways, on to other details. My dress. So I love my dress. I'm going to insert a picture for you guys. But yeah, a lot of people ask me where I got my dress. To be quite honest with you, I bought it off of somebody else. I've never been one to spend on dresses like full price. Like, I love the fancy stuff. I love it. But I don't have the pockets for all that. So a tip that I would give to anybody, it doesn't have to be a pageant, like prom, like anything. Any dress idea that you have, I guarantee you someone else has probably done that before, and you can just buy the dress off of them, and it's way cheaper, and they only wore it once. Like, it's gonna be almost good as new. Like on my dress, I just had to buy some feathers and a hot glue gun and just add some more feathers to it. I got the dress for $100, and when I tell you, that's a great dress. Like, the pictures won't do it justice probably. The dress was pristine. It just needed a little TLC, me to put some feathers on it, and it was ready to go, and I wouldn't have gone with any other dress. Like, I love my pageant dress. I wish I had already done my photo shoot in my dress so, like, I could insert pictures for you guys to see. But, you know, if you guys want to follow me on Instagram, you guys can maybe see those when I do the shoot. Yeah, that won't be anytime soon because, you know.
Guess what, bitch? Coronavirus! Coronavirus! I'm telling you, shit is real! Shit is getting real!
But yeah, I love my dress, and you guys don't have to spend a fortune on a dress if you want to do a pageant. I also want to say thank you to Bill. Bill was my photographer who did my photo shoot before the pageant, and just like how I said I had done canning, the pictures that I got from my photographer, they were really helpful. I got huge pictures. Like, I'm not good with measurements or anything, but they were like huge enough that like cars like driving by in the distance could see my picture. They were looking to see who I was, and it was just helpful. People were just like, wow, she's beautiful, let me go see why she's sitting out here in this freezing cold. And you know, that's why people came up to me. Like, they wouldn't have been as apt to come up to me if they didn't see this huge picture, and they were just like so curious. And yeah, that's something I thought of on my own, and it went really well. I would recommend that to anybody who might do canning. You have to draw people in somehow. They're not just gonna come up to you and give you money, because that's really just not how it works. So yeah, my first time seeing pretty much everyone was pageant orientation, and when I tell you guys, that was overwhelming. It was firstly overwhelming because basically there was about 130 or so contestants, and we were all just kind of packed in a like really small room, teens and miss. Like, the total of us was like 130, and it was cramped. So aside from my anxiety from being cramped, just seeing everyone, it was finally just like, ooh, these are my competitors. Like, it was kind of daunting, I'm not gonna lie, because you know, just I think every now and then, like, people have insecurities. Oh, this girl is really pretty, like, all these girls are just like so pretty, like, how am I gonna even win this? But that's just not a good mindset to have, because as corny as this is, it is true. Everybody is beautiful, and someone else's beauty never takes away from your own. And just, again, the pageant is about having self-confidence and all that. So all of that, like, doubt you have, all your unsureness has to go out the window, because you're paying a lot of money for this pageant. So if you don't have in your head that you're going to win, you're just not going to win, because you don't have it in your head that you are going to. And you paid too much money and came this far at this point that I'm at right now. I wish I told myself this. Like, paid too much money to be thinking this way. But you know, I got more confident. It was just like a moment of doubt, I guess, but it happens to the best of us. But yeah, on to pageant weekend, actually, the main event. This was probably the most tiring part of the pageant. So pageant weekend, like, it wasn't that long. It was like just a weekend. That's all we had. And when the pageant wasn't happening, it was rehearsal after rehearsal for hours and hours. Like, again, how I said with the, like, again, with the particularity and having to stand and pose a certain way, do all of that with 130 girls and just organizing everything. Just the whole thing had to be like organized. It had to like look good. Like we couldn't just all come out any kind of way. Like you had to do alphabetical order and organize how the girls came out, how the girls left, like single file lines, like formations, just like marking off like X's on the stage for when the finalists and when the award winners are called. Like you have to stand here and here and here. It has to be precise. You can't just be like two people over there and then like one over here and one all the way over there. It has to be organized because it's on video too. So we have to look like we know what we're doing. So it was rehearsal for hours, and guess what too? Having to wear our pageant heels, super high heels. Like I could show you guys a picture of my heels. I could insert them. My feet were hurting after hours of doing all of that. Well, yeah, the pageant was Saturday and Sunday. It was 2 days. So after each long day of rehearsal was each segment of the pageant. So it didn't matter how bad your feet was hurting, how tired you were, how much you just weren't feeling it. It was time for the actual pageant. So you better get your stuff together and get it together now because this is the moment. But actually, I wanted to address like rehearsal and something that happened during rehearsal because this was a big part of the pageant for me itself. So for those of you who don't know, I have a stutter. You probably couldn't tell. But yeah, I experienced a block during rehearsal. For those of you who don't know what a block is, it's just like essentially for someone who stutters, maybe even people who don't stutter, just trying to speak and not being able to like get out what you're trying to say. It's not even like having like a brain fart or something. You have the words, you're trying to say them, and there's just like a pressure almost in your chest, and you're just like trying to talk and you can't get it out. And a part of the pageant and something that we were practicing in rehearsal is walking up to the mic and saying your name, because that's the first part of the pageant. This is when the judges first see you. This is their first impression of you. You have to walk up to the mic and just say your name, your age, which town you're from, just as confidently as you can. So, you know, I went over this a lot in my head, like how easy it would be. Just go up to the mic, Marlene, 19. But, you know, it wasn't that simple for me. Like, I did a really good pageant weekend talking to people, like being social. I have anxiety and I have a stutter, and a lot of people in my situation might not have even thought to do a pageant because that's just really daunting, and anxiety, like that being even worse. But you know, I just kind of put myself out there. That's what I try to do. I just try to put myself out there and not doubt myself. You just have to see what happens. And I did a really good job of hiding my stutter throughout pageant weekend, but I couldn't hide it anymore. I had a block during rehearsal in front of everyone. I just froze. Like, it was just rehearsal too. Like, we were looking out at the audience. The audience wasn't there. It was just empty seats. But in that moment, just all the nerves hit me. Like, I didn't feel nervous, really. I was just kind of chilling. And when it came to me speaking and me thinking about I'm going to have to speak on this microphone in front of hundreds of people in this audience, I just, yeah, you know, like having a block, like it's hard for me to even describe it to you, but I kept like trying to like get out my words and I just couldn't do it. And, you know, I didn't like tell anybody that I had a stutter or anything. So like, of course, everybody was confused as to what had been happening. But how I mentioned the mock pageant earlier, one of the judges for the mock pageant, she was actually directing our pageant rehearsals, and she already knew that I had a stutter because I told the judges that I had that problem. So she knew exactly what was going on. So she came onto the stage like as I'm having my block. After like seeing for a while that like it wasn't coming out, she came up to me to ask if I was okay, to comfort me, to ask if I could do this. And yeah, she asked me if she could, because everyone was there during the rehearsal, like tell them like why I was having a problem. Yeah, she explained it to them, and I just remember feeling inferior. Like, I didn't want to feel inferior. I hadn't told anybody that I had a stutter because, you know, it's a competition at the end of the day. I didn't want them to look at me like she won't be any competition because she can't even speak properly or anything like that. Like, you know, you see on TV just pageants and such other things being so catty and all of that. So I was prepared for the worst. I didn't want anybody to look down on me like I wasn't just as good as they were. But here was, the cat was out of the bag, and I was distraught because I let myself down. I'm really hard on myself sometimes. I was just, yeah, it was a lot for me. But I wouldn't have ever guessed that what happened would have happened. All the girls were just really supportive towards me. I wouldn't have ever guessed that I'd have gotten the response that I did. Like, some of the girls just came up to me and hugged me. They were just great. I remember a few of them had pulled me aside and practiced with me, just saying my name and shouting and everything when I was having trouble with. They just pulled me aside from everyone else and they just practiced with me. They just like helped me do it like over and over. And I really appreciated that. Just people did so many things. Like Sabrina, the one that actually won Miss Mass USA herself, our last names were right next to each other in the order. So she was second and I was third to go up to the mic and say my name. And she had offered to say it for me, like if I had a block. And also a bunch of the other girls offered if I had a block to like just all of them, like all the girls on stage for the Miss division, just like shout my name. And that was just like so sweet. Like they just wanted to help me. And I wasn't really expecting that because I'm used to like being independent and just doing everything on my own. And I had never had that sisterhood. Like they said for the pageant, seek friends, like develop a sisterhood, like build connections, because only one person wins. There was about like 65 Miss, 65 teens, and only one from each division wins. So if you're going to just be focused on winning and not enjoy the experience, you're not going to be very happy if and when you just don't win. There was two people though that really stood out to me in that aspect. One of the teens, like I look up to her. She had come up to me after like everything happened on stage, and she had given me this book actually, Singing with Samantha. This is a book that she wrote actually. She's boss, guys. She has her own book like published on Amazon and everything. She's dope. But this book is about selective mutism. She has selective mutism. And to tell you guys, what it basically means is just not being able to talk to people even when you want to sometimes. It's in a way just feeling anxious, like around people you do know, around people that you don't know, just not being able to talk. She was just like very much like me in the aspect of having this problem, not wanting to let this problem define you. She told me how strong I was. All the girls told me just how strong I was, and I never really like thought of myself really. Like I knew that I was strong. Like I like to think I was a pretty strong person, but it really made me like realize it and realize how far I'd come, and made me realize that anybody else in my shoes probably wouldn't have done a pageant. So I don't know, I just felt really good. And the other girl who made a really like big difference, she was a miss just like me actually. She had told me like I very much appreciated all the girls wanting to shout my name for me, but this miss, she had pulled me aside and she basically just told me that this pageant is about confidence and I have to say my name myself. I can't let anybody else do it for me because the judges have to see me. I have to finish what I started, and I have to do it with my own voice by myself because it's my pageant experience and I paid money to be here just like everyone else, and I just had to do it myself. Like I appreciated everyone wanting to comfort me and help me, but what I really needed was her words actually. Her words are what like stuck in my head the most because I did need to do it on my own. And I wanted to be able to do it on my own. And as anxious as I was, I did want to and I did need to start what I finished. And yeah, during rehearsal, I had a few more blocks on stage. But during the actual pageant, both nights, I went on stage and I didn't have a block, and I did amazing. And just everyone supporting me was like so great. Also, more on the pageant, I won an award actually, guys. I won the first award of the night, the Spirit Award. So, guys, I really wasn't expecting to win anything or anything, but here's my plaque. I just wanted to show you guys the Spirit Award. I got a whole plaque. I was hyped. I didn't become a finalist or anything, but how could I have not been happy? Like, the whole weekend was amazing, as I'm telling you guys. And yeah, I got the first award. I'm going to insert a picture actually of me getting my award, and you can even see on the faces of like all the other girls behind me, they were just genuinely happy to see me win the award, because like there was growth like within that pageant weekend. Like I I definitely experienced lots of growth that I didn't expect to happen, and the girls got to witness that. And like you guys are going to see the picture, like they were like clapping and smiling like proud moms. It's kind of funny actually, but there was lots of love there, and I appreciate all of those girls, all the ones that had kind words to say about me, all the ones were just there, like even the ones I just didn't ever like speak a word to. We shared an experience. And yeah, the pageant is just one of the most fun things I've ever done, most enriching things, one of the best things I've ever done for myself, because it took a lot to do that. This was one of the most like independent things I had ever done for myself, so I was proud of myself for it, and it amounted to greatness. Like I've blossomed throughout the whole weekend. But yeah, the pageant was amazing. I had so much to say. If I'm forgetting anything, maybe I'll like insert text next to like say anything that I missed. But as a whole, guys, this was just an amazing experience. If you want to do a pageant, you should do it. If you can get the money up, like the only thing that could probably like stop you is the money, because it is expensive. But actually, another thing to mention, I did a pageant as a 19-year-old, and for Miss, if you wanted to do Miss, I think the age is until 26 or 27. So I'm not doing it next year, but I have time if I want to do it again, which I think I will, because as you can see, I really enjoyed myself. Yeah, I'll probably do it again. I believe Miss is 13 to 18. So yeah, you can ask me about pageants if you guys want, leave comments or anything like that. Something else actually, being that I have a stutter, I was worried about the interview portion. There was 3 portions I forgot to mention. There was swim, evening gown, and interview. So yes, those were the 3 categories that we were being judged on. And I was most worried about interview. I think I had the walking down because I practiced walking and everything. Like that was the easy part for me. But my interview was what I was nervous about. But I actually killed it, and I'm really happy with how I did. I was nervous about it for no reason. There was like such a rush, like being on stage during the pageant. For you guys who don't know, I'm a model too, so it's similar to just like being on a runway. Well, the pageant stage was like a runway in essence. It was shaped like one, but it was just like such a rush. Fashion shows for me sometimes are just like so stressful, like prep, makeup, fittings, just everything. It can be so stressful. For the pageant too, just the whole weekend was just pretty stressful. But once I was on that stage, all of that went away, and I was just there to slay, like, as I should. And it was great. Again, the whole thing was stressful, but just being on that stage made everything worth it. And just all the fun I had with everyone, like all the just like nice people I met. Like all the girls were just like genuinely nice. There wasn't ever any bad vibes, and that was just a beautiful thing to me. Also, I want to take a moment to shout out my amazing boyfriend. He was the only person who was there for me to come see me during the pageant. But I didn't have that much support. Like even during my interview actually, the judges asked me something to the extent of like, how was my family supporting me during the pageant? And I just had to be honest and say that I was doing most of everything by myself, but I was okay with that, and I was still happy with my experience, which of course I was. But yeah, I just really want to thank my boyfriend for being there during the pageant, and yeah, just being my rock and my support. Thank you, babe. I know you're watching this. But yeah, again, you guys, if you're thinking about doing a pageant, you should just do it. You're gonna do amazing. If you just wanted to watch this video because you're curious about the pageant, that's fine too. I hope you enjoyed my stories and everything. But yeah, to anyone who really wants to do this, hit me up, ask me. Also, I almost forgot to say, the girl who won, Sabrina, like, I just wanted to say that even though I didn't win, her winning was just the next best thing, and she was the best person to win. Like, she was the rightful winner, because Sabrina is just amazing, you guys. Firstly, she is Haitian, just like me. She's dark skinned, just like me. She has short hair, just like me. Like, I just identified with her a lot. I'm gonna insert a picture of us, actually. I just identified with her a lot, and she was amazing. She is a beautiful person inside and out, and it's just amazing to see more black women pageant winners, because, you know, black power, all of that. It's amazing seeing my melanin queens out here winning. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe so you can become one of my golden stars, and peace out.